Yo, what is good guys? ESG here with another FPL price reaction video. Some new player prices have been announced today by separate teams, including Liverpool, Brighton and Tottenham. So I'm going to be going through them today and giving my initial reaction to those prices. If you are new around here, hit that subscribe button and hit the like button if you enjoyed the video. And without further ado, let's get into the first team. So the first team we are going to be looking at is Brighton. They've got a few good players here. So you've got Minter coming in at 5.5. He's a new signing for them, so there's not too much information that we do have on him. Joe Pedro at 5.5, Adingra at 5.5, Estepinian at 5, and Dunk at 4.5. I'm going to start off with Joe Pedro because he was Brighton's top scorer last season, even though he was being rotated quite a lot. At 5.5, if I do bring him up on Fantasy Football from last season, he's coming in at the same starting price, which was 5.5. And he ended at 5.2 because he did get an injury at one point in the season and was being rotated quite a lot. First game of the season against Luton, he got a 7-pointer. He got a 7-pointer there against Man United as well. Look towards the end of the season, in the middle of the season there, so from game week 24 to 30, that was when he was injured, so didn't get any game time at all. But towards the end of the season, he didn't pick up too many points because of the running that they had, but he was still picking up points here and there. He got 5 points against Chelsea because he got an assist. 5 points against Villa because he got an assist. But before his injury, he was picking up quite a few points. And with being Brighton's penalty taker, at 5.5, I think he is one to keep an eye on. It's the same price as Jamie Vardy, who is also 5.5. I think out of them two, João Pedro is the one that I would go for if you want a budget-enabling forward in your team. Adingra as well at 5.5, a budget-enabling midfielder if you are wanting one. He got a few goals and assists last season, so could be one to look at. Dunk for 4.5 isn't the best to go for in my opinion. I think there are better 4.5 defenders out there like Aït-Nouri and Concert, maybe Gahey as well. So in my opinion, Dunk will be an avoid because Brighton defensively aren't the best as it is. And then Estepinian at 5 million. He started at 5 million last season, got a really bad injury and came down in price. When he came back from that injury, he was getting goals and assists. A couple of clean sheets here and there, but again, Brighton not the best defensively. Under a new manager, they could do really well defensively. They could change the system quite a lot. So he is one to keep an eye on, but João Pedro definitely at that 5.5 million. He's one that is going to be on my radar and potentially in my starting draft, as he is on penalties and gets quite a lot of points. So next up, guys, we've got some Ipswich players. So Ipswich have only just been promoted to the Premier League. It's the first time in a long time being in the Premier League, so there's not too much information that we do have on the players because with them playing in the Championship, coming up to the Premier League, it is such a different class of play. So I'm not going to go into too much detail on these, but we've got Hutchinson coming in at 5.5. I'd say that's reasonably priced looking at the other prices that we have had revealed like yesterday and on Thursday. So 5.5 for Hutchinson seems right. He's on that same line as Semenyo and Hudson-Odoi. You've then got Burgess coming in at 4 million, who I don't know too much about him. If he's a starter, he may be a good cheap asset to go for just as a bench player, because then you actually have a starter on your bench in case a sub needs to come on for you. But the rest of these at 5.5 and 5 million, I am going to be avoiding them personally. I don't think they're going to be that useful to go for. Ipswich could surprise everybody and go on a really good run, and they could have a good fixture run, which we do need to look at. But out of all of these, I think Hutchinson and maybe Burgess are the only two that I would consider if I was need a budget enabling midfielder or defender in my team. So up next, we do have a few Liverpool players coming in. So you've got Cody Gakpo coming in at 7.5 million. Nunez also coming in at 7.5 million. They're both Liverpool forwards for FPL. You've then got McAllister coming in at 6.5, which is the same as last season. And then you've got Van Dijk at 6 million and Trent Alexander-Arnold at 7 million. So Van Dijk is the same price as last season. He started at 6 million, and I think he stayed at 6 million. As a centre-back, I think he will be an avoid for me personally. I feel like somebody like Saliba, Ben White or Gabriel from Arsenal, who have a better defensive record from last season anyway, I think they're going to be ones that I do aim for instead of Van Dijk, especially at that 6 million mark. 7 million for Trent Alexander-Arnold. Again, I feel like even though he has come down from last season, he started off at 8 million last season, ended at 8.4 million. I do just feel like Trent at 7 million, we don't know how the new manager at Liverpool is going to line up the team, and if he's playing Trent as a right back and not pushing him into midfield, he could lose a lot of his assists or especially clean sheets, because I think a lot of people know defensively Trent isn't the best, but getting forward he is. So if the new manager is playing Trent in a more midfield role, he may be one to look at, but for the time being, he's going to be an avoid for myself, personally. McAllister at 6.5. I still think Salah is going to be on penalties, as he has always been. So I think McAllister will be an avoid as well, especially if he is playing more of a DM role like he was last season. I don't think he'll get that many goals or assists personally. Nunes at 7.5 and Gakpo at 7.5. Depending how Slot lines up the team will depend on which one of these I do pick, if any. I think he could get a lot of use out of Gakpo, and I think he'll play a lot more under Slot than he did under Klopp. But it depends where he plays him. If he's playing him through the middle, it's probably not worth going for him. But if he's playing him off on that left-hand side, like he has been for the Netherlands, in the Euros he's been doing extremely well on that left wing side for the Netherlands. And if he's doing that for Liverpool, he could be one to look at. Also with Nunes, after what happened in the Copa America, everything's still up in the air about whether he's going to get a suspension because of what happened. So Nunes is going to be an avoid for me at this point. But I'd say Gakpo and Trent are the two that I have an eye on, but most likely won't be going for either of them. I will probably just stick with Salah, who is probably guaranteed game time, guaranteed on penalties, and Salah never really disappoints. He always seems to get those clutch points later down the line in the season. So they're the ones that I'm going to be looking at out of Liverpool. So up next we do have Bournemouth, who have a couple of interesting prices here. So we've got Dominic Solanke coming in at 7.5 million. That is an increase of 1 million from last season. He started off at 6.5, but it's deserved, and I thought he would be a lot higher. He got 19 goals last season and 3 assists, and he is the penalty taker for Bournemouth. I did think he would be coming in at around 8 million, maybe 8.5, so 7.5. He's on the same price range as Ivan Toney and Mateta, and out of them, I think Solanke is the one to go for if you are looking for a budget-enabling striker. So Solanke is definitely one to be keeping an eye on. The defenders, you've got Kirkers and Zabani at 7.5. They're both the same as last season, and I don't think I see Bournemouth keeping that many clean sheets the same as last season. So I think they are two that I'm going to be avoiding, unless they do have a good run of fixtures somewhere in the season where they might be able to pick up a few clean sheets. I might be tempted then. But again, for 4.5, if you're looking for a budget defender, definitely consider one of these. But I do think there may be better defenders to go for at the same price. Then you've got Cook and Tavernier, both midfielders, 5.5 and 5 million. Again, budget enabling midfielders, yeah, but I'm not really expecting too much from them. But out of these, Solanke is definitely the one to keep an eye on at that 7.5 price range. Because if I do get him up on fantasy football from last season, he was delivering in a lot of games. 12 points against Newcastle, 8 points against Luton, 17 points there against Nottingham Forest, 13 points again against Newcastle. So he was returning quite a lot. 19 goals, 3 assists, and he did have a price increase of 0.4 last season. So again, he's gone up this season, but it is deserved. So definitely one to keep an eye on. So finally, we do have the Tottenham players coming in. We've got 5 reveals today. So you've got James Maddison coming in at 7.5, Kulusevski coming in at 6.5, Pedro Porro coming in at 5.5, Udogie coming in at 5, and Vicario also coming in at 5. So if you look at Vicario first, he's coming in at 5 million, which is the same as Jordan Pickford, Bernd Leno, and Emi Martinez. I think out of all 4 of them coming in at 5 million, Martinez and Vicario are the 2 to keep an eye on. I think you can't go wrong with either one of them too, if you are looking for a 5 million goalkeeper. So definitely want to keep an eye on in pre-season and at the start of the season. Udogie coming in at 5 million. Last season he started off at 4.5 million and ended up at 4.9. So I think 5 million is it's right. At the end of the season he did get an injury in that Forest game, so didn't play in any of these. He played in that Newcastle game, but then he did get an injury, so didn't play in the last 4 or 5 games, maybe 6 games. So there is that to keep into consideration. If he is fit and he's playing games, definitely want to go for at that 5 million mark. Again, Pedro Porro for 5.5 million, that's the same price as last season, and it's deserved. He was a good player last season. On a few set pieces when Maddison got injured, still got a lot of assists, and he does tend to move into that midfield role and get forward quite a lot from right back. So definitely one to be keeping on your radar to maybe bring into your team. Kulusevski for 6.5 million. I feel like it's too much of a rotation risk, and I think there are better 6.5 million midfielders to bring in. But again, if you're looking for a Spurs asset, Kulusevski could be one to go for that 6.5, because it will enable your budget a little bit elsewhere. And then Maddison for 7.5. It's deserved again. It's spot on. He's on set pieces, so he's on free kicks and corners, so can get assists or goals. So yeah, 7.5 for Maddison isn't bad, but I don't really think, out of all these Spurs players, I think Vicario and Udogie and Porro are the three that I'm going to be keeping my eye on. I'm not really too bothered about going for a Spurs midfielder, maybe Son, depending on where he is, but I do have a feeling he will be a striker this season, going in at forward. So yeah, out of these three, I would say Udogie, Vicario, Porro definitely ones to keep on your radar. So that is going to be it for today's video, guys. I hope that you did enjoy it. We've looked at 5 different teams, so that's 25 players in total. And we've looked at the likes of Liverpool and Spurs, where there are some interesting assets there, especially Maddison at 7.5, but also Gakpo and Nunez at 7.5. So there's a bit of decision making to make there if you are going for any of them. I do want your thoughts in the comments, though. What do you think about the prices that we've looked at today? Do you think that they're reasonably priced, or do you think some of the players might be a little bit overpriced or underpriced? Especially like João Pedro and Solanke debate. Personally, I think Pedro is underpriced and Solanke is the right price, but I want your thoughts. If you did enjoy the video, smash that like button and subscribe if you are new. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.